but
Yeah.
it is, you know who's moving around in the community. And I certainly heard the name Bo Hunter. And when I actually met you for the first time, I thought, oh, wow, this is him. This is the face
This
behind the
is
story.
Bo.
Sorry.
And then, of course, you start talking with people and you kind of understand. And Bo struck me as, yes, he's strategic, and I know that, and I love that because as a chess player, you're always thinking three moves ahead. What works and what information do you have to have? How do you anticipate? But more than that is he's got a curiosity, and the curiosity is something that sometimes when we get older, well, you're not old. I'm old. No, but
Ain't old
I
either,
just
man.
say this.
Nah.
Um, but people talk about the wisdom, and yes, you have wisdom, and that's important. But sometimes you tend to put the curiosity aside. Bo is not like that. I don't think I'm like that. We're always trying to see how things work and see a better path or an easier path. And when Bo came to me and said, "Hey, Bruce, I've got an idea," and hit me with R&R with a brain dump in one day of all this
Wow.
different information, you know what?
As
I
one
know
does.
Bo's got the vision, and absolutely, it's going to take me a few moments to catch up and start to think about this. But yeah, because there is a need, and he identified a need in it, a need to do things right when it comes to communications. We've both seen times where campaigns, he's been involved in
Oh
campaigns
yeah.
that I've been involved in, ones that don't work because something is inherently wrong. And at times, nobody has got the moxie to put up their hand and say, um, I know we
That's not
said this,
working.
but exactly. Said this, but well, that's not what you said before. You don't need to shrink with that. You don't need to pull and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got it all wrong," or "Oh, they thought it." Just say, be honest and say, "Yeah, that's right." But I think there is a current way of looking at this that is better. And what if we did this? And start to bring in other voices. And Bo is like that. He brings in the other voices and starts to listen. And when you do that, you come up with better strategies and better ideas. That's important. And that defies getting back to that LinkedIn thing. It defies what's on your LinkedIn bios. His is impressive. Judith, yours is impressive. And I guess mine is impressive. But you know what? It's the people and the way they go about in doing what they do and what drives them, inspires them. And that is important. So I'm like, yeah, oh, kudos. I'd give you a high five if I could.
I think for all three of us, we've had journeys in listening and asking for guidance and where to go. And I think that has led us here today, you know. So it is wonderful, it's powerful, it's very, very humbling. Um, some folks I think would think that that might be hokey, and I would, my response to that would be take a minute and listen to what you've done wrong in your life and see where you potentially could have turned that corner. Okay, did you have an indicator saying that maybe that wasn't the best choice? If that's the case, the next time that happens and you have another indicator, take that corner,
Yeah.
listen to the voice and see what happens. I don't like to put a label on it. Again, living in so many different countries, meeting so many different people. Some folks label it as Christian beliefs or a Muslim or Islam or Allah, whether it's, you know, it's divine wisdom from Hinduism or from Buddhism or whatnot. And at the end of the day, I think it's I think that we all as humans have that voice and how we label and clarify that. That is really, really important. And so when I look at successful people, I very quietly look at them and say, and think to myself, do you listen to that voice? You know, are you selling parts of your soul in order to get something for the moment? Or are you listening to that voice for the greater good and moving forward?
That
Um,
is so. Oh, can I interject there? I
yeah,
just
buddy,
want
go
to
ahead,
say,
dude.
encouraging people to actually, and sometimes it takes somebody else, an outsider, to say,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
Let's take stock in who you are and what you're about
Right.
and use that because we're all very polite people. And in business, we've learned mechanisms and protocols to be polite until you hit a certain level, and then you could be a little bit more assertive. And some people are allowed to be more assertive than others. And when they say things, they're geniuses, and perhaps you're not. But when you are have the ability to come in, and this is something that Bo shares, I know,
Mm.
when we can come in and say, you know what? Where are you with this and what are you about? And get a real hold on the person behind the vision, behind the KPIs, behind the business plan, and make sure that that is coming out in the performance and all the objectives. I mean, that's a human side to it, but it's important and
Exactly.
it works. And you know what? At the
Works.
end of the day, you feel better about yourself. And
Yeah.
even
You
if it
sleep at night.
fails, heaven forbid, if it fails, you can still say, I did the right thing. I did what I believed in.
Hmm. You can sleep at
And
night.
and thank others. Take a moment to thank the people that helped you on that journey. That is all very important, I think.
Absolutely.
And this is something amazing, right? And bro, I've seen you at work, and we connected at a very different level, and we both believe in the inner voice that guides us. So as we say, we believe in lifting and shifting and pivoting and learning from whatever it is. We fail forward and we fail fast, and we believe in all those principles. Most importantly, that inner voice that guides us and keeps us true to the purpose and brings us all together and all those things. So, in what you do, especially in risk and reach, you handle very high profile communications. You reset profiles, you reset portfolios, like you change the way people view organizations. So, tell us about that journey, a journey of taking a client to someone who's visible, someone whose products can be reached out to and the expertise can be tapped into, because that is what you have done for many people I know, and I can see the stories, and these stories have meanings. So, tell us about this, please. Yeah.
Yeah. And Bruce, please feel free to interject as you see. I think the core component of all of that is listen. Listen to the energy of the person. Listen to the cadence of the way that they communicate. Listen, look at the body language if you have that luxury. If it's only audio, fair enough, but you can still hear the energy and the flow, the cadence of who they are. I think that is fundamentally important to be able to put together an accurate or a authentic, that's really the word I was looking for, an authentic means of communicating for a business or for a person. If you're doing speech writing for elected officials or for
That is so
executives,
important.
you need
I
to
just to
know.
pick up on some of that, Bo. I've done a lot of media training, and one of the things I've seen around with media training where it hasn't worked, a lot of media trainers try to turn their clients into professional broadcasters, and nobody wants to hear that. What they do want to hear are two things, actually three. They want the person to be authentic. They want to believe in what the person is saying. And I put the third one in here because it is important. They want to be entertained or kept alive and glued to it. And that's
Mhm.
the bottom line. And that is true whether you're doing it with a media release or whether it's a piece of communication that's written or a op-ed or a think piece, or whether it is an actual interview for audio only for podcasts. I love podcasts, by the way. That is my new that is my new passion is the podcast. But I think it is important to tell a story in such an authentic way, and most of us don't know how to do that. We've talked here, the three of us, a lot about energy and about coming from our own values, and that's important, and people have that. And I see one of the things that's often missing is when they go into being in front of the media or being interviewed or writing, is the person disappears, just goes away. And that's sad. That's that's really something that you have to give a little bit more time and credence to, I think, when you're developing your way of communicating. And that's how your innovation, which you put all the work into it, your ideas, whatever it is that you're trying to get across, that is important, and you know that, but only works if you show your connection to it and meet people on their connection to how things work.
I was just going to say, I think that's a really great point. Do you think that, and I'm asking you this, Bruce, do you think that the reason why certain folks, I'm sorry, I think of elected officials, a couple in particular, do you think, they lose their sense of personal being? Is that a voluntary reaction? Is it anxiety? Is it because perhaps their inner core, their self rejects it for whatever reason? The business, the program, the allegiance to whatever cause there is, they feel stuck, and so therefore they turn it. It's a husk of who they really are. By day you've got X, and by night you've got X. Completely different. You see those personalities all the time. So, do you think is it that they reject some of the things internally that they say, or do you think it's simply just performance anxiety, which is real?
It is
It's
real
real
for
for
everybody,
everybody.
although most, the higher the level of politician, the more they've had some sort of media training. And some of it's good, some is not good, by the way. There are some times where you get a campaign or even an organization that appoints somebody that worked well in the media, but really they don't know how to connect. And, that's a word that we throw around, but it really is an important word. There is no one way to connect. There are many different ways. It's like coaching soccer at the top level. You can coach it in so many different philosophies and ways, and each and every one of them is right. But you've got to know which way you're going to coach and which way you're going to have a client perform well. So getting back, it's a long way to get back to that question you had, Bo. But when it comes to politicians, there are ones that really are good at marketing and nail things right down to the core message and know who they visualize. And I see this all the time. They visualize their person, their group in every single thing they say. And that is the primary importance. And you can hear that. There are others that work from passion and compassion and only compassion and will reach out to people in, hey, I've been there. I've been there. I am like you. And sometimes that works. And sometimes you'll buy it.
Mm.
And when you do buy it, you buy it big time. When you don't buy it, oh, it blows up. But one thing is for sure, they all practice and they all reinvent themselves and review after they've made any important move that is public facing. They take a look back at it and they said, and they should say, be honest with me. What worked? What did not work? Where do I have to go? What is the best approach, the best strategy? And where we come in, I would even say, what is real for you and what can work? What are the mechanisms that you can use, the tools that you want to use? Not all tools work well. A chef can use one knife for one thing and one knife for another thing. Let's get the right knife, the right ingredients, and let's make that dinner the best dinner that really reflects your vision. And that's what you have to do with every communication so your story is heard. I think that's important.
Absolutely, and that is the I'd say ingredients, or that is the menu, how Risk and Reach puts together programs, campaigns for both elected officials to Fortune 100s to tech startups, to individuals who are starting with their first business. We have the capacity and the bandwidth currently to do all, and we are working with all of those at the same time as we speak. So it's wonderful, but I think that formula is important to put together a campaign that will be successful. It is listening to the values of the organization or the individual, understanding who their audience is, reading the room, understanding the timing that might be necessary. A lot of times folks don't want to wait before putting certain campaigns out. But in fact, it's knowing the right moment to do so and then running as fast as you can when you have that right moment to do it. And trying to maximize the wins in your sales for as long as possible. And that is, it's fun. It's fun. And that's something else
It
I'd
is
say.
fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
We are lucky. Bo and I are lucky because we're playing in a world where we are constantly thinking, and we talk all the time about what worked, and we'll hear international messages anywhere in the world, and we'll say, you know what, that did not work, and
Oh
why?
God, no.
And we look at it, or we'll say, you know what, I think that's going to have traction, and
Better
look
watch
at it.
out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing thing to do, whether it's the timing of when to say something because you just don't want to jump in, say your words into an empty room because that room is left to go to somewhere more interesting than where you are. And you've got to anticipate that. There's so many of these little game pieces on the chessboard you have to be aware of. But we are so lucky to be playing with that because at the end of the day, what is the goal? We're getting somebody's very important message. People know that they've put so much of their life into whatever they're doing. If they're uh, business people that have come up with an idea, they've sacrificed a lot in their own lives. They deserve to have their story told. Don't sell yourself short. Make sure people know where you are and how that can benefit others, because that is important for everybody.
Yeah, I think as further to what you just said, I think in a crisis situation, most everybody deserves, I think, a chance at either redemption or a proper defense counsel, whether that be legal counsel or PR counsel or risk mitigation counsel. And that could be either at the enterprise level or small and medium business level. That could be even an elected official. I've done crisis management in all of those arenas, and they really are as such.
And Bo, you and I have talked about this, and we've talked about who should be at the table, and sometimes who you want to politely have exit from the room so they're not at.
Right. And I think it's important to strategize that and have game plans in place well in advance of that. Even do practice runs, and executive management may say, "Oh, I don't have time for it once or twice though," but you understand the play. And at that point, if you've got the right team, you've got management in place that understands that, they will go through that practice. They will understand what their faults are, as we all have them, as well as what the things that they've done right are, and can keep that in mind. And then also have a briefing available. So just to summarize that, there's the positive side of public relations and communications. Stratcom is empowering and building those stories and getting them out there. Sometimes things go sideways and you also have to have the crisis involved. And so Bruce and I have been working in that area, whether in the technical side or in the journalistic side or media side or, or in the business executive side for many, many years. And so we love what we do. I'd like to think that there are those that are out there that support us in the work that we do. And we certainly are growing very quickly in that regard. So I touch wood, and I think those who have empowered us to be where we are today, again, grateful without words for that. So
Well said. Absolutely.
Well, good, and thank you, Bo. And for those of us from the ERP community watching this video, there will be opportunities where you will have to manage a campaign or a crisis or something at different points in time in your life, in your career, in your organization's career. So you know who to talk to. You want someone you trust, someone who has got your back, and someone who is with you as they guide you through the journey. So the way that I see Bruce and Bo is they walked the path multiple times before, and they know which way to take you. So your journey is as smooth as possible, especially as you navigate this. As a founder of a business, I definitely put my trust in Bo and Bruce as they have helped me and help my other associates manage everything that we need to do. And I rely on Bruce and Bo for guidance, and I've seen the results Bo produces, especially in the last run that we had beautiful opportunity to reshape the face of a beautiful company, and that's something that will always remain with me. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah, and I think that as we are here now, we are in 3 different countries. Have you realized that? We've got Australia, we've got Canada, we've got the United States on the line as we speak. So between Bruce's experience and my experience, I've operated worldwide throughout Asia Pacific, very, very comfortable over there. Miss it greatly sometimes, often these days. North America, very comfortable as well. EMEA as well. Other parts of the Middle East, I grew up there, so it's kind of a home. So in that regard, I'm very, very comfortable managing business plans, communication strategies, developing relationships all over the world, as is Bruce. Bruce has worked at the very, very, very top of global politics, the G7 leaders, if you will. And so between the two of us, I think we have a fair bit to offer, and I'd love to work with some of your team members in the community to make the product better. So,
And we're friendly people.
Oh, yeah.
We're approachable.
I
Really,
can vouch
really,
that.
we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, how can our community get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Our website is riskandreach.com. Very easy. Bruce and I both are also on LinkedIn. Our information is there. Just send us a quick email, say hello. Very much welcome that. Bruce also has another podcast called Broadcast Chronicles, and another platform as well that he'd like to continue to move forward with. Any thoughts on that?
Thanks so much. A little bit of
Yes.
there, but and I appreciate that. Broadcast Chronicles, by the way, tells the story of stories of colleagues of mine who have worked in broadcasting, and I think yes, it is a little niche for some people. You can see some of the techniques in interviewing and how to bring stories out, and that is the important point. It doesn't matter what field you're in. Broadcasting happens to be one that I came from. But the same thing can be done for any organization. And that is one of the goals that I've had is to start telling stories through podcasts and make them really engaging and get those stories out there so we can see the people behind the great work that they're doing, not just the great work.
Mm-hmm. So,
Broadcast
referencing
Chronicles available on all different platforms, as they say, all of them.
Yeah, referencing that, it's a great example of where to get some top tips, if you will, for from former and current journalists, as well as us at Risk and Reach. But we're easily, no pun intended, reachable. And if anything, any one of us could certainly. We try and get back to perspectives within a matter of hours because we operate all over the globe 24/7. So, please feel free to reach out as necessary, and would love to hear more.
And thank you, Bruce and Bo. So for audience, thank you very much for listening to this. If you're looking for more stories like this, stories of real people working in the ERP community and making a difference, it's available on Ancient Wisdom forums. Please choose to follow me and follow our team. There's a lot of work done behind the scenes to bring this to you and to serve the community better. So thank you for being an awesome listener. So stay in touch for more.